Okay, for the second part of chapter 2, I will tour you on the Invision Studio interface. Okay, so let's familiarize ourselves on the Invision Studio interface. Okay, considering that you have already downloaded and installed Invision Studio desktop app in your computer. Okay, so may makikita na kayong ganitong icon sa desktop nyo. So all you need to do is double click that. And if this is freshly installed, hindi nyo pa siya ino-open previously, ang unang lalabas will be the sign in screen. So you need to sign in. Considering na nag-create na kayo ng account ninyo nung in-install nyo yung Invision. So you need to sign in using the credentials na ginamit ninyo nung nag-sign in kayo or in-install nyo ang Invision. Okay, so I will just enter the email address that I have used and also the password that I've used at gmail.com. Okay, and click sign in. Okay, then after signing in or after clicking sign in, so necessary na connected pa rin kayo sa internet. If that's the case, then after that, I think pwedeng hindi na. Hindi ko pa na-try pala pag offline ako. Okay, so this will be the screen na lalabas in case hindi freshly. So yung lumabas kanina na screen na magsa-sign in ka, yun ang lalabas pag first time mong gagamitin yung Invision. Pero kung meron ka nang ginawa dati and you double click Invision Studio on your computer or from your desktop, ito na yung screen na lalabas. Lalabas dito lahat ng recent projects na ginawa mo sa Invision. Okay, so before we go to the interface. Okay, so ano yung unang lalabas? So when you open Invision Studio for the second time, for example, hindi for the first time, you will see this screen. So this is the open panel screen of Invision Studio, and this will show you, or this will be shown when you first load it. Okay, and what you can do here is you can either open an existing project, which is this. So meron na akong existing project. Or you can also create a new project by clicking this. You can open or watch examples and tutorials. Okay, hindi ko na-introduce yung cloud, pero dito, if you want to share your outputs to others using Invision, you can use that part. Okay? So, meron din tayong what's new if you want to be updated on the new events or new features of Invision. Meron din tayong Learn Studio if you want to watch tutorials on how to use Invision Studio. Pero take note, kailangan mo ng internet connection if you will be using this. Okay? So, this will be the content of the open panel of Invision Studio. Okay, so if you want to create a new project, you need to click this button. Okay, so after clicking the button, the plus button, you will be redirected to this screen. And of course, you can maximize already this screen. Okay, so this is the create new artboard screen. Okay, and in here, you can click the screen size that you wish to use. Okay, or you can select from the available templates here when you click the drop down arrow beside the screen type. Okay, so this is for mobile size, this is for laptop or desktop computers, this will be for iPad or tablets. If you have other sizes of devices, you can click custom size. Okay, okay, so for example, ang sinelect mo ay Galaxy S7. If your phone, for example, is Samsung Galaxy 7. Pero if not, you can always change it using this part of your screen. So you can set here the size of the artboard. Okay? Or you can manually reset, or you can manually write or type the size of your artboard here. So, pixel ang pinag-uusapan. So, you need to convert kung inches yung alam mong measurement ng phone mo. Okay? Now, let me tour you on the Invision Studio screen or interface or environment. Okay? So, the studio interface is broken down into four main parts. We have the layer list here. Okay, so pag may mga laman or may mga nilagay ka na, for example, naglagay ka ng rectangle, naglagay ka ng ellipse, and then you also added text, for example, in your artboard, you can see here, okay, the different layers na available doon sa artboard mo. Okay, so this is called the layers list, and this is located on the left hand side, and this will become populated, dadami siya, as we start creating layers within our artboard or canvas, kung canvas man yung inad mo. Okay, so the second main part of our screen, we have the toolbar at the top. Okay, syempre, this is our menu bar. Okay, and we have our toolbar at the top. And our toolbar is contextual, which means the content or the icons available in this part of our screen depends on what is selected on our workspace. So kung artboard ang selected, we can only see these icons. If I select an object inside my artboard, nag-change yung mga available na icons doon sa aking toolbar. Kaya tinawag siyang contextual kasi yung laman niya paiba-iba. Okay, depending on the object that is selected. Okay, so that is our toolbar. And our toolbar is divided into four parts. So, yung first part is yung create new objects. Okay, ito siya. Wherein it is used to insert an additional artboard if you want to insert an additional artboard. Okay, for the second part of your screen, you can also use this create new objects icon if you want to add a rectangle, if you want to add a rounded rectangle, if you want to add a circle or an ellipse, if you want to draw using this freehand path tool, okay, if you want to add an image, and if you want to add a text, okay? So, ito yung first part ng ating toolbar. And may I advise you to please memorize the hotkeys of these objects para hindi kayo pumupunta dito every now and then na gusto nyong mag-add ng object sa artboard ninyo. Madali lang naman i-memorize kasi kung titignan nyo, parang first letter, artboard for A, rectangle for R. Siguro ito lang rounded rectangle kasi R din naman siya, so hindi naman pwedeng pareho. Ellipse for O, path for P, T for text, and I for image. Okay? So, yun yung mga hotkeys natin. Next part, we have some editing tools at the center. So, ito. And this will be discussed as we go on sa tour natin or studying or learning the interface of our or of this app. Okay? So, these are editing tools at the center. So, we can use this. So, for example, I wish to merge this. Okay, I can use this para maging iisang object sila. Okay, so that is just one example on the use of the editing tools. We also have the publishing tools on the right-hand side. Okay, and we use this if you want to collaborate or if you want to share your design to others. We use this if we want to publish our design so we can see what it looks like when it is presented using a device. Okay, we use this if we want to mirror. Kunwari nandito yung design mo and you want to test kung anong itsura niya doon sa phone mo, pwede mong i-mirror doon sa phone mo ito. We also have this if you want to publish our design to Invision for others to see. And of course, the last part of the toolbar, we have the zoom level. Okay? So, may mga shortcut keys tayo dyan. And please memorize this also para mas madali yung paggamit natin nung app. Okay, so let's test yung mga shortcut keys to zoom in and zoom out para I can introduce na rin some basic operations while working with Invision. Okay, so if sabi dito, if you want to zoom to a selection, for example, madami ng laman yung screen mo and you just want to focus on one object in your screen, you can select that object and you can press, sabi dito, if you want to zoom to selection, you can press Control 2. Okay, so we can zoom doon lang sa selection. If you want to zoom to fit the uh, all the artboards in your screen, you press Control 1 to fit the artboard, Control 2 for the selection, Control 0 if you want to zoom to the full size of the artboard, Control 3 to center selection. So if this is the selection, Control 3 to center that on the screen. Okay, so yan yung mga yon. If you want to zoom in, you just press daw Control plus equal, or you can use Control while scrolling your mouse wheel. If you want to pan around, you hold your space bar while left clicking and dragging your mouse. Okay, so isisingit ko na yan doon sa four main parts since nabanggit ko na. Okay, ulitin lang natin. The first part is the layers list. Second part is your toolbar, which is contextual. And your toolbar consists of different tools. We have the create new objects, we have the editing tools, we have the publishing tools, and we have the zoom level. Next part of your studio interface is the inspector, which is located at the right hand part of the screen. And the inspector is where you find all the visual properties of the selected object. Okay? This is also contextual kasi depending on the selected object, nagbabago din yung itsura niya or yung mga available options na lumalabas dyan. Okay? So this is our inspector and we will discuss this, yung mga gamit nito as we go on. And the last part that dominates the middle of the screen is called the canvas. Okay? Pero sa atin, ang tawag natin artboard kasi hindi naman canvas yung inad natin. If you added canvas, then canvas. Pero ang inad natin ay artboard. So this is the artboard. And this is the fourth main part of our screen. So in this part of your screen, you can create your design work. Okay, so those are the four main parts of the Studio, Invision, Desktop App, Environment. Okay, so for the last part of this video lesson, let me introduce to you the use of inspector for artboard. So as mentioned earlier, the inspector is contextual, meaning depending on the selected object, okay, nag-iiba-iba yung options dito. Okay, so for the artboard, let's try to understand yung mga options if the selected object is the artboard. Okay, take note na pag naka-disabled, hindi yan ginagamit for the artboard or for the object that is selected. Okay, so let's start with this part, yung preset. Okay, so in case na nag-decide ka na hindi pala yan yung gusto mong gamitin na device size, as mentioned earlier, you can always change that here. Okay? Pag web, that is those are the choices or options. We have also phone, tablet, etc. Okay, meron din tayong mga social media kasi you can also create social media posts like Facebook cover, like Instagram story using this software or app. Okay? So if you decided to change yung device size, then you can always use this. Pero kung gusto mo na specific size ng device, like for example, you want to create a mobile app design, with the size or using the size of your cell phone, then you can always size or reset that here. Okay, kung wala man yung phone model mo dito. Okay? You can always ask Google kung ano yung equivalent pixel size ng cellphone mo in case ang alam mo lang is yung size niya in terms of inches. So, how to convert inches to pixel? Ganun lang kay Google. And Google will answer. Okay? So, next we have the X and Y, which is the position of your artboard on the screen. So, this is your artboard. You can display pala yung options dito sa inspector once artboard is selected. And to select your artboard, you can either click the name of your artboard on the layers list or you can click the name dito to select the artboard. And please take note that you can have as many artboards as you want. Add artboards. You can use this, uh, create new object, or you can and click artboard and select the type or the size here, or you can press A on your keyboard and these templates will be displayed and select the artboard here. Okay, so now I have 3 artboards on my screen. So I'll just press Ctrl 1 to fit these 3 artboards on my screen. Okay, and uulitin ko lang, you need to select an artboard for you to check the options on the inspector panel. Okay, so nasabi ko na ang gamit ng preset. This will define the position of the selected artboard on the screen, and you can change this by either typing the value, or you can position your mouse pointer or hover your mouse pointer on the label of that option and drag. Okay, drag left and right to change the value. The same is true with the Y. Okay, so let's just return that, the initial value, which is 0. Okay, so yun ang gamit ng X and Y. Home naman is click this if you want to assign that artboard to be the first artboard that will be displayed when you click preview. Okay, para lang makita natin, let me just open yung nagawa ko na. Okay. Okay, so ito yung nagawa ko na. Ay, unfinished business. Okay, so I'll be selecting the artboard name and ang naka-assign na home is itong part na to. So if I will preview that, ang unang lalabas is yung artboard na ito kasi nasa kanya si home. Okay, so pag inassign mo ito as the home, okay, so syempre lilipat na yung bahay na icon doon. So pag i-preview mo, instead na yun ang lumabas, ito yung unang lalabas kasi sinet mo siya as the home na artboard. Okay, or you assign that artboard as the first screen when preview is selected. So yun ang gamit ng home. So kung ano yung gusto mong unang lumabas na screen or artboard, when you click preview, then you assign that as the home artboard or the first screen to be displayed when you click preview. Okay, so I want this to be my home screen, so I'll click the home icon to that artboard. Okay, then we have alam nyo na to, yung yung size ng artboard mo. Okay? And if you want to swap the width and the height, you can click this icon. Then we have this preview part. Okay, we have the preset, size, and position. Okay, we have the preview. So, I'll be discussing this on a separate topic kasi kailangan meron akong sample if I'll be discussing the use of scrolling. Okay? For the viewport, yung size niya dito sa screen. Okay, and hindi na natin yan papalitan kasi pareho lang doon sa size. Okay, next we have the frame of your Galaxy X7, you can also change that. So, for example, gold. So, pag nag-preview ka, magiging gold din yung frame. So, that's the use. Next, we have background. And this is used if you want to add background color to your design and you want to include that color when you export. Okay, then you use background color. Okay, and if you want to add, just click this button. Okay, click this palette. If you want to change the color, for example, yellow. Okay, and click this slider or drag this slider if you want to change the opacity or transparency of that color in your design. Okay, if you decided not to include a background color, you can always tick this box, or if you want to delete it ng tuluyan, then right-click the palette and select delete. And lastly, we have the layout grid below. So you can add columns, okay, and rows. This is very helpful lalo na kung may mga images kayo that you want to add and you want to align them, you want to distribute them equally para balance, okay? Then very helpful ang layout grid options. Okay, you can also click this to display more options, like if you want to add more columns, if you want to add a gutter. Gutter is the space in between the grids, that is the gutter, and margin is of course the space sa margin natin. You can also change the color of your grid to something like that. Okay? So, yun yung more options. Pero if you decided not to include a grid, the same step tayo, you can always tick the box. The same is true pag rows. Meron din kayong more options dito. The same yung gamit. And also with the grid. Okay, if you want to add or increase the size of your grid, very helpful ito pag may mga ganyan kayo, mga icons kayo that you wish to align, that you wish to distribute equally. Very useful itong mga to. Okay? So, that is the inspector panel, okay, for artboard. And we will discuss on the next video lessons yung inspector panel kung itong object naman na itong selected. For example, what if text, ano naman yung laman niya? What if shape, ano naman yung laman ng inspector? Okay? So that ends this second video lesson for Invision Studio tutorial. So I hope naintindihan nyo yung gamit or yung user interface of this app. Sa mga susunod na video lesson, I'll be demonstrating the use of each icon. Okay? So, paisa-isa tayo. Okay, so if merong hindi clear or meron akong hindi nabanggit na nakikita nyo dyan sa screen nyo, okay, please ask them using Messenger. Okay? So, thank you guys for watching and listening, and see you at the next video lesson.